good morning, and welcome to Unfiltered Vision News, bringing you the news unfiltered Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern. I am your host, Dr. Ashaki Noni Nichols, and thank you so much for joining me here this morning on Unfiltered Vision News. Shout out to the Unfiltered Vision News family. So this morning, we're going to start off with a few videos, and yes, we are still talking about legal and illegal immigration, but I wanted to get this video up in particular because this is from someone who is a legal immigrant, right? And he was just sharing a little bit of his feelings and reflection on those that are trying to enter the country illegally. So let's get his take. Let me see, get my mouse where it's supposed to be. First of all, that would be good, huh? Okay, there we go. Like I said, we're going to go through some bumps and bruises because I am the tech support here. Okay.
Minding my own business, this older white guy comes up to me, pointing to my shirt, and he said, "Let me talk to you real quick." So I walk over there. I'm like, "What's up, man?" He said, "You shouldn't be wearing that shirt right now. You're going to offend a lot of people." I was like, "Who? Who am I going to offend?" He said, "Immigrants." I started laughing. I'm like, "I'm an immigrant. I support the president." He's like, "No, you're not." I was like, "Yeah, born and raised in Iran, man." He gets all confused and he's like, "Well, how about the soldiers, militaries being deployed to target protesters?" I was like, "I like law and order too. I like stores that are not looted. I like taxi cabs that are not burned. I don't know about you. I support him on that." And he's like, "Well, a lot of people in the military don't. They're speaking out. They're walking away." And I was like, "Well, guess what, man? I'm a veteran too. And the first thing they teach you in the military that you obey the chain of command. And guess who's at the top of that chain? It's the commander in chief, the president of the United States." So I told him this: if you are talking about immigrants, you're wrong. You're talking about illegal immigrants. I spent 3 years in a refugee camp in Turkey, waited my turn with no source of education, no source of income, because we knew what was on the other side. And when we got here, we didn't raise the Iranian flag. We raised the American flag and the Texas flag, and we still do today. So you're not talking about immigrants. You're talking about illegal immigrants, those people who invaded this country. And anybody in the military that have a problem with this, or like this guy, or those foreigners that are raising the foreign flag, you all are more than welcome to get the hell out and go find another place.
Okay, boom. Yeah, he said that. He said that, right? Because a lot of times, I don't think we hear enough from people that have done the process the right way. And he's from Iran. And there we do have a situation going on right now with Israel and Iran, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But here's another video, just another take in perspective I wanted you guys to see.
Legal migrants and their supporters, please stop leaning in on Black Lives Matter back in 2020. Black Lives Matter was a big scam. It was the biggest scam since cauliflower buffalo wings, okay? They were fake, and them wings sure enough fake, okay? Some of you guys are making videos talking about why black people are not standing with the illegal migrants. Number one, you're illegal. That's why. Number two, not all black people are built the same, okay? Because I didn't stand with the fakeness of Black Lives Matter back in 2020, and I'm sure not standing with the illegal migrant in 2025. We don't stand with lawlessness. We don't stand with anarchy. We don't stand with riots or looting, causing taxpayers millions upon millions or billions of dollars. And if any of you black people want to go out there and stand with them, you just as cuckoo for Cocoa Pops as you was back in 2020. When are y'all going to stand for what is right? We have immigration laws, okay? It is not this administration's fault because the Biden administration did not implement immigration laws. Just open the border and say, "Come on in, we're going to be a globalist society." Out there singing, "Open the borders and no more USA." That's what they singing. When you support the destruction of a city, a town, a society, we know who team you on, okay? And you are not down with G.O.D. Out there thinking y'all serving Jesus. Y'all serving Barabbas. He was in prison for anarchy and insurrection and unaliving Romans, going against the governing authorities. Ain't no Christ in this. I don't care how much y'all say, "Let the foreigners live among us," but conveniently forgetting obey the governing authorities. That is the word of God that you conveniently leaving out. Nobody is against the immigrant. That is the lie y'all have been telling for the longest, and we are sick of it. We are against the illegal migrant. Big difference. If you're going to wave your little funky foreign flag in America, go back to your little funky foreign country, okay? And to the lady that said, well, y'all be going to Mexico on vacation, we have a passport, okay? We have our documents in order, and we tell them we are going through customs. When they ask us, they say, hey, when you leaving? If we say we're going to stay for 5 days, baby, we be at that airport on the 5th day leaving. We just don't post up and stay in the country, okay? We know them federales are going to come and get us if we do so. How dare you think you can do whatever you want to do when you get here? There is no consequences or repercussions. We have plenty of mercy for the immigrant. The foreigners can live among us, peace, love, and kumbaya. That is the love of Jesus Christ. Y'all not gonna twist them scriptures, honey. First, obey the governing authorities. Come here legally. Many before you. That part.
Yeah. Sorry that the video was like a little distorted. You know what I'm saying? Like was a little bit behind, but just to get to that point. And thank you so much, Jamal, for reposting the stream this morning. And anybody else who's watching, please repost. Yeah. So you got to see those two different takes, right? The person that came here legally and made a point, you know, to share with someone when the guy thought he was here and he wasn't documented, right? I was like, wow, that's kind of interesting that somebody was like, hey, I know you're not here legally. Why are you wearing this shirt? It's like, seriously? That's horrible, first of all. And then second of all, with and follow her. She's on TikTok. It's Miller for Christ. That's her handle there. And you know, she made a great point. You know, if you claim to be a Christian, right? Especially if you're coming here from another country and you're not obeying the governing authorities, why aren't you? You don't get to have that conversation when you're breaking the law. Breaking the law. We have a legal pathway to citizenship. Yeah, it might be a little cumbersome, but there's a reason for that. Okay, there's a reason why people do have to wait as long as they do, because they have to go through a vetting process, and there are hundreds of thousands of people that want to get into this country. And what happened under the previous administration, the way they went about actually enabling illegal activity, and that also happened in our Congress. Congress, you are not, how should I say, your hands aren't clean in this situation. This is Republicans and Democrats. Okay. That Inflation Reduction Act, it passed. The CARES Act passed. Okay. There were things that happened under the last administration and the last Congress, and things passed. But what didn't happen was Congress didn't iron out immigration when they had the opportunity to. Why was that? You think you were going to just executive order your way out of this with temporary protected status, right? With paroled in the United States, which are 2 listings on Social Security, by the way, and I think they've been removed since. But those people were also collecting Social Security under the past administration. Like, what are you doing? What are you really doing when you're encouraging people to break the law, right? And then all of a sudden tell them, well, you have to be law abiding. No, you've already allowed them to break the law. You didn't vet these people. And that's why so many people that shouldn't have been here got into the United States. Now that they're here, they don't want to leave, and they think they have every right to stay, and they don't. So for, you know, attorneys like Benjamin Crump that are caping for these people, you're out of line, sir. You are well out of line, along with other immigration attorneys that are protecting people here that are here illegally. You're like, well, they're not killing anybody. They broke the law. They're here illegally. They need to go home. Well, it's only a civil infraction. It's still breaking the law. They need to go home, period. Because to me, that's even worse, because you're like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a little something. No, it's a big something. Because when you think you can get away with that, then you'll do other things. And this is why we are where we are. This is why people are looting in the streets of Los Angeles and New York and all of these other cities, thinking that they have a right to tell us being here illegally is okay. It's not okay. Hey, no kings. Yeah, you guys, it's not okay to actually promote being here illegally. That's horrible. Okay? Because see, you're not going to be caught up in the shrapnel that these people are. I did see the picture of the gentleman who was getting beat with a baton by the, police officer on the horse. But guess what? You were giving an unlawful assembly order to leave, and you refused to leave. I don't feel sorry for you. Not at all. Not at all. And anybody else that got caught up in that. I saw another video of somebody whose foot got ran over by a car. Well, you shouldn't have been trying to stop a moving car. What is wrong with you? And that happened in Los Angeles. Yes, there's a video. I didn't download it because I can only have so many videos going and then my stream gets all crazy. But yeah, like these things are happening. And I know a lot of times the people are like, why are so many of these things happening? What's really going on? So I want to introduce you guys to a group that nobody was really talking about. It's called the Bilderberg Group. They've been around for a while. I want to say roughly 50 years, something like that. Well, we'll go to the Wikipedia page as well. But I wanted to play a video first to introduce them, and then we'll get a little bit more into the Bilderberg Group and also their current meeting that they had in the year 2025 and who were some of the participants. I think you'd be interesting to find out who those participants are. So let's watch this next video.
Time Bilderberg meeting held its annual conference last weekend in Madrid, Spain, marking its 70th session. It is one of the most secretive and powerful organizations you've probably never heard of. Since 1954, the exclusive group of American and European elite has been gathering in secret to discuss everything from the rise and fall of communism to nuclear warfare to cybersecurity. The King of the Netherlands and the head of NATO were just some of the high-level attendees at this year's meeting. Some people claim the group is leading world politics and business, as several Bilderbergers have received top positions at the World Bank, NATO, IMF, the UN, and within the European Commission. A 2023 report revealed that at least 133 politicians had been promoted to executive positions such as ministers, presidents, and senior officials after attending Bilderberg conferences. Among the 133 politicians cited is Bill Clinton, who became the US president in 1993, 2 years after his Bilderberg premiere. While little is known about what's discussed in the private meetings, we do know a few things about the recent gathering, as the group has published its 2024 agenda, which is firmly focused on the future, specifically the future of warfare. The Bilderberg meetings have been protested by people who believe these secretive gatherings represent a shadow world government and resemble a council of war. One of the Bilderberg attendees was Alex Karp, who serves as the CEO of the AI surveillance giant Palantir, whose products are being used by the Israeli army in Palestine's Gaza. According to Karp, Palantir's products have been in great demand as Israel continues its brutal onslaught on the enclave. Karp also stated that he sees war as an opportunity for research and development, saying there are things that we can do on the battlefield that we could not do in a domestic context. These statements have given rise to popular beliefs that some Bilderberg group members profit from war. But given that the group's meetings are behind closed doors, the truth is likely to remain in the shadows.
Yeah, so if you didn't recognize the company, Palantir, remember? Oh, yeah, Palantir, who just got that large government contract with the United States to oversee our sensitive information. Now, I recently just learned that they were part of the Bilderberg Group. Because I know initially I was like, well, it's kind of cool to, have somebody come in and do this. And I was like, okay, they've been given a contract. They were given a contract, let's say back in 2021. They were working with the United States on some other technical software. But now that I know who they are, I can understand now why Elon was having such a fit about them and not wanting them to be anywhere near any type of government contracts for the United States, because of their work with Bilderberg. As you heard, they also include members of the IMF, right? The International Monetary Fund. Sorry, okay, but there are members of the WEF in there also, and there are also several companies, right, that we know of in America that are also a part of the Bilderberg Group. So I want to just share my screen and let you guys see just what's going on. So this was their 2025 meeting. So this meeting just happened, and this was the 71st meeting. So they are definitely older than 50 years old. And this meeting took place the 12th to the 15th of June. So last week, yeah, they were meeting. Interesting how there was so much havoc going on while they were having this meeting. And nobody was paying attention to this, right? Nobody was talking about it. I wasn't talking about it because I wasn't, I was more focused on like, is everybody okay from the riots that were going on, right? Every single day. And it's one of those things where something like that is going on, we always have to make sure that we're looking in other places because it could be a distraction in some cases, right? And purposely done to distract the American public. So this whole No Kings event, yeah, I could see it being kind of a distraction. We did have the president, he had his parade, and it just so happened to land on his birthday. We were celebrating the army. It's like, okay, so we had that going on. There was a lot going on, but this was something that should have been paid attention to. So it says, let me make sure I've got it. Yeah, I do have it. So where you guys can see it when you're viewing. So Stockholm, and that's where it's located in Stockholm, Sweden. That's where they have it, Stockholm. And I always find that fascinating that they have a place called Stockholm. So on June 12th, the 71st Bilderberg meeting will take place from the 12th to the 15th of June, 2025 in Stockholm, Sweden. As ever, a diverse group of political leaders and experts from industry, finance, academia, and the media has been invited. So these are the people that are attending this meeting. The list of participants is available on bilderbergmeetings.org, and we'll look at the participants as well. So this isn't something hidden. It's not like, oh my gosh, they, so secret that you can't find them. No, this is on the internet. You can look it up. You can Google this. You search it, okay? And it will come right up on your computer. So the topics this year that they're discussing are transatlantic relationship, Ukraine, the US economy, Europe, Middle East, authoritarian axis, defense. It doesn't look like defense, but I guess that's in the way they spelled it. Defense, innovation, and resilience, AI, deterrence and national security, proliferation, geopolitics of energy and critical minerals, okay, depopulation and migration. And that one struck me. Depopulation, like that's what y'all are talking about? You're talking about getting rid of folks. No, okay. So there's a difference when people are discussing countries that are going to be underpopulated, right? Because of, lack of birth rates or aging society. They're not talking about that. When they talk about depopulation, they're talking about depopulating people. Yes, they're talking about killing people off. This is what they were talking about in this meeting. Yeah. This is what's going on. Like, I need us to pay attention. Okay, so it says it was founded in 1954. So, 71 years old. The Bilderberg meeting is an annual conference designed to foster dialogue between Europe and North America. Every year, between 120 and 140 political leaders and experts from industry, finance, academia, and the media are invited to take part in the meeting. About 2/3 of the participants come from Europe and the rest from North America. 2/3 are from Europe and the rest are from North America. So the rest are from over here, guys. Yeah, we are the, kind of the majority in the room. Very scary. Approximately a quarter from politics and government, and the rest from other fields. So there's a quarter of those individuals, of that 2/3, that more than 2/3. Quarter of them are from politics and government. So our own government is participating in this. Yes, our government. So when strange things and weird things are going on, it's because of the people that are participating, that are also participating in our federal government. These are the people that, yeah, we're going to put them on full blast. We're going to make sure that they don't get back into office, and we're going to shut this down. We should not be participating in anything like this ever. But I'll read on. The Bilderberg meeting is a forum for informal discussions about major issues. The meetings are held under the Chatham House Rule, which states that participants are free to use the information received, but neither the identity nor the affiliation of the speakers, nor any other participant may be revealed. That's hilarious because it's all on the internet now. So we all know who you are. So busted that bubble. Thanks to the private nature of the meeting, the participants take part as individuals rather than in any official capacity. Okay. So I guess looking at that, like, let's just use Turner Broadcasting, for example. And there was a CEO from one of the divisions that took part in this. They would be coming as an individual, not on behalf of Turner Broadcasting. So that's what that pretty much goes back to. And hence are not bound by the conventions of their office or pre-agreed positions. As such, they can take time to listen, reflect, and gather insights. There is no detailed agenda, no resolutions are proposed, no votes are taken, and no policy statements are issued. Right. So they're not putting forth any policy that's saying, okay, guys, go out and kill these guys in a specific way. No, they're not doing that, but they're talking about it. These are the things that they're talking about. But even though you talk about things, doesn't mean that they're not going to carry these intentions. And that's what, in my opinion, that's what these fall back to. They create intentions that people will make suggestions in different parts of the world. Yeah. Then why are you meeting? Why are you even here to discuss? Y'all just like, yeah, we should kill half the planet. Yeah, well, yeah, that sounds good. And you're just gonna go back home and not carry any of this stuff out. Seriously, we're not that dumb. We are not that dumb. I'm glad that you're saying these things, but I can see how these things are being carried out. So those riots happening out in the streets, because last year it was about warfare. And that's what we see being carried out this year. So this year they're talking about depopulation and migration. And migration is a big issue right now, right? Right now, currently, that we're in, and people demanding illegal immigration, demanding it. But it's the depopulation part that, like I said, that I find very, very disturbing. So let's look at a few of the participants, shall we, that were there. Give it a moment. We'll go through the participants list, take a quick break, and we come back, finish this up. And then we're going to get into how to get the bag, because I really want to share that with you guys and have a little bit of more happy times, right? Talking about money and how we can get out from under this. But as you will see at the very top of the list is Stacey Abrams. Yeah. Yeah, she was there. She was also at Davos as well. I want to say a couple of years ago, but Kemp was there too. Yeah. He was at Davos. I don't know if his name is going to come up on this list, but I definitely wanted to point out that she was there, Stacey Abrams, and she's right at the top of the list. So when you see her coming around, just know that she was part of a conversation where they were talking about depopulation and migration. And so when you see her and she starts saying things that are really strange, and she might talk about depopulation and she might talk about migration in certain ways, it was because she was a part of this conversation. That's why. Okay. I just need everybody to, understand that part. A lot of these other people don't know, but a staff writer for The Atlantic, Ann Applebaum. Let's see, anybody else? Former director, Office of Net Assessment, Department of Defense. So this was somebody in the DoD. James Baker, he was there. I'm just looking at the USA people right now. that's all I'm focused on. Oh, Albert Bourla. He's the chair and CEO of Pfizer. Yeah, he's all about depopulation, right? Right? Yeah. These are the people that are there, you guys. It's crazy. Kate Crawford, she's a professor and senior principal researcher at USC and Microsoft Research. Yeah. Christopher Donahue, commander, the U.S. Army of Europe and Africa. That's current. Current, because it doesn't say former, right? It doesn't say past. Because if he was not in that capacity, he would, you know what I'm saying? It would. He's commander of U.S. Army in Europe and Africa. Why are you there at a group like this? Okay. So I'm gonna go to Wikipedia because I kind of like their breakdown of the way they did this, of the way they broke down the participants, I should say. Okay. So, you've got your royalty, right? You got your politics. And see, what I did like about is they broke down people by group and segment. Okay. So let's go down to the United States. Hopefully I'm not making anybody dizzy scrolling. Sorry. Got to get there. Yeah, getting to the U's. Okay, so for United States, again, we've got Stacey Abrams. We've got Wally Ademo. He's the Deputy Secretary of the Treasury, and he's there currently. Roger Altman. Yeah, he's the Deputy Treasury Secretary, and he was there from 93 to 94. He's the founder and chairman of Evercore Partners. James Baker, I think we saw that person. Director of Office of Net Assessment. Apparently, he's still in that position. George W. Ball. It's kind of cool. If you hover over it, it'll show you people's pictures. Sandy Berger, who's the National Security Advisor. She's deceased. William Burns. There were some other names I saw on here. Hillary Clinton. She's definitely a member of this group. Let's see who else is on the list that might, make people go, not necessarily a jump scare, but like, I didn't think that kind of person would be on this list. Yeah, they're on that list too. But yeah, I'll definitely make sure to add the links. But now we're getting down to the senators from the United States that are also have attended this meeting. So Tom Daschle, John Edwards, Lindsey Graham. I'm not surprised about Lindsey Graham. Chuck Hagel, John Kerry, and Kristen Sinema. Like I said, I'm not shocked about Lindsey Graham because I don't think he's ever seen a conflict he didn't like. He's always there to make that money. But again, these are the people talking about depopulation and migration. And like I said, I'm focused on that part of the meeting because that's the part out of all these that is most concerning to me, as just a human on the planet, just trying to live my life. The governors that are a part of this group and that have attended, we've got Bill Clinton, Mitch Daniels, John Huntsman, John Hickenlooper, Rick Perry, right? I remember he was governor of Texas, Mark Sanford, Kathleen Sebelius, and Mark Warner. So again, and also it doesn't matter what party they're from, because Rick Perry was a Republican. He wasn't a Democrat. So you can't say it's all Democrats. That's why I'm telling you guys, I pound on both parties, because it's not just one party doing this. They're both doing this. Okay. Now, people that are from the military that are attending this meeting. Oh, yeah, there's people from the United States in the military attending this. Okay. We got this Keith B. Alexander, Philip Breedlove, Alexander Haig, who's unfortunately deceased, Ben Hodges. Okay. And some of these people, they aren't serving in capacity now. They, passed. This is past tense. Lynn Letzminer, and Michael Mullen. So these are some people from our military that have participated in there. But, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, they're still walking the planet. They're still participating, right? We got some financial institutions that have participated from all over the world. In United States, we've got Ben Bernanke. That's a familiar name. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he was the chairman of the board of governors of the United States Federal Reserve. Yeah, you might remember that name. William Joseph McDonough, and I actually live in the city of McDonough. It's kind of interesting. He attended this. He's unfortunately deceased. David Rockefeller was also a part of this, deceased. Paul Volcker, deceased. John Waldron, Daniel Yergin. Okay, so that's the financial institutions. And like I said, they have them broken down on Wikipedia, like I said, and I kind of like the way that their breakdown goes, because they're just breaking them down by industry, I should say. So you got your politics, you got, the military, these different things. But I wanted to check out this section. So this was this was the corporation. Sorry, guys. Make sure I got the the subgroup right. So yeah, this is the corporations section. And this is the one, when I saw some of the names, I was like, wait a minute, Sam Altman. Yeah, that's the OpenAI dude. He's in this meeting. He's in the meeting. Yeah. And these are some people that are around Trump and working with Trump. They're at this meeting talking about depopulation and migration. They support that. They support it. No, you can't say, well, I didn't know what was going on. No, you knew what was going on. You knew where you were going, and you've been going. So stop that. Because see these little numbers right here? Document when you've gone there. So Sam Altman was there in 2016, 2022, and 2023. Those are the meetings he attended. And I'm pretty sure he's probably attending the meeting this year. Pretty sure of it. Okay, Jeff Bezos. He's attended 2011 to 2013. Okay, pretty sure he's there too. And we can look, I got the participants list. I will search it out. Oh, thank you, April, so much for reposting this space. Okay, let's see who else is on this list that we might recognize. Just a mess. Okay, nobody that's standing out to me that I necessarily recognize outside of those two. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot to mention Bill Gates was on this list too. Yeah, there he is. This dude. So we know that he's there all the time. Even though it says 2010, it's probably when he started attending, I guess. Yeah, this guy. So, he likes depopulation. He's all about it. He's into it. It is just so sad that we've got other humans thinking that they have the right to destroy other humans. Like I shouldn't say when, but it's been, it's one of those things over history. You see people will participate in secret societies. And this is it. I wouldn't call Bilderberg so much a secret society because it's on the internet. Like, it's on Wikipedia. Like, we can see these people. There is nothing secret about what they're doing. Now, what may be secret is maybe some of the other things that they participate in while they're there that aren't posted on the internet. But Alex Jones, he busted that bubble a long time ago and showed that they do get involved in some ritualistic activity, because you can only be a part of something like this if you just are truly demonic and have no soul, period. Some of the things that they've discussed at even prior meetings, they do talk about depopulation. They do talk about how they're going to basically rule over other people, and they have no right to. Oh, here he is, full mask, Mr. Alex Karp. Yeah, this dude. So the video that I had played where they were talking about the Bilderberg group, this is this guy. This is the Palantir guy. He needs a comb, y'all. He needs assistance. I'm just saying, you've got a lot of money. You need to take care of that. That's just it's bad. So he's an American businessman and the co-founder and CEO of software firm Palantir Technologies. He began his career investing in startups and stocks and co-founded Palantir with Peter Thiel in 2003. In 2025, Time Magazine named him in the Time list. I'm not going to go off of, but Times 100. Yeah, and they have that rolling list that happens every year. But this guy is the same person who's cozy enough to Donald Trump, right? And I think he got the contract. I think he's going to be using that to intertwine information between Social Security and the IRS, and there were like 6 different agencies that weren't talking to one another, and he's giving them the software to talk to each other. Now, on its face, people say, okay, that's good, right? And it is good because those agencies should be talking to each other, right? So we don't have overlaps in Social Security numbers. So one Social Security number can't be used 10 or 12 times for 10 or 12 different people, right? It should be used for the original person, and then it's retired, and that's it. It's no longer functioning in society, but of course we have criminal behavior, and it has. So that's part of what the technology does. But what people didn't think about or consider is what's happening in China, right? Where they have the social credit score. Because now that the government has your information in all of these different sectors, and it does talk to each other, and it can pinpoint and drill down to you as a sole single person, what does that mean, and how much leverage will the government now have in your life to maybe shut you down, right? Take your money, take your information, and block you from being able to participate maybe in commerce. That's the part that is the scary part, because there aren't any measures or rules put in place to protect us. Now, a lot of people say, well, we got the Fourth Amendment. We do, but we signed our lives over with the Patriot Act after 9/11 because, see, we were begging for protection, and they gave it to us. And they're still eroding the Constitution with that particular bill. So now we've got to fight Congress and say, okay, you need to make sure that whatever is happening with our information being aggregated in such a way that we have our protections. We do have our rights as citizens to due process. We do, because we're citizens. Okay. And we do have the right, of protection before their search and seizure done with a warrant or a subpoena, or however they go about, wanting more information from us. They need to put protections in place for us, and they're not doing that. Right. So again, like I said, we had Peter Thiel, we had Alex Karp, and these people are participating in this. Now, for academia, I mean, yeah, we're going to have a big list of people that are just, yeah. But guess what? Our babies aren't smarter. They're activists, though. They're definitely activists. They're definitely people who know how to lord it over others. They really aren't functioning as far as being creative enough to make something. I wish they were, because, if they were, our steel mills would maybe be creating another type of steel, right? As opposed to just being barren graveyards. And that's something that we need to get back to. Because here's my thing. If somebody else isn't going to do it, we have every right to do it as American citizens. We need to stop sitting back on our hands and waiting for the government to save us, because they're not. They hate us. This is obvious. I'm going to remind everybody again, this group, the Bilderberg group, they hate you. They hate humans. They would much rather see us gone. Okay? Depopulation and migration. They want to flood countries like ours with illegal immigration, and then they want to work on depopulating us. Okay? That's it. All this goes back to slavery, and I don't care who doesn't like me saying it. Slavery, slavery, slavery. That's what this is. Your 15-minute cities, that's slavery. Okay? Putting in Cities for Action and putting in the Office of New Americas, that's just a new form of slavery for us and everybody else. These people at the 1%, they are out of control, and they are the ones that need to be brought to heel, if anybody. Y'all are out of control. This world does not belong to you. You're not God. Now, you might think you're a God, small g, but you're not God. And that's why all of your plans are being thwarted all over the place, and they're falling apart. And they're falling flat because people are waking up, and they're not just going to roll over and die. They're not going to do it. And so with that, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll finish up on this Bilderberg stuff, and then we're going to get into getting the bag, because I know that's why a lot of you guys are here. And thank you so much for joining us here this morning on Unfiltered Vision News, bringing you the news unfiltered. And I'll see you guys on the other side. And we're back. Thank you so much for joining us here on Unfiltered Vision News, bringing you the news unfiltered, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern. I'm your host, Dr. Ashaki Noni Nichols. So what I wanted to show you guys, now this is what they were talking about in 2024, and this meeting happened in Madrid, Spain on May 30th through June 2nd. Okay, so these were the topics they talked about last year. So they talked about the state of AI, AI safety, changing faces of biology, climate, future of warfare, geopolitical landscape, Europe's economic challenges, U.S. economic challenges, U.S. political landscape, Ukraine and the world, Middle East, China, and Russia. So this is what they talked about in 2024. Let's see what they talked about in 2023. Okay, in 2023, they were in Portugal from the 18th to the 21st of May. So they do change the dates, but it's usually between May and June when they have these meetings. And so in 2023, they were talking about AI, banking system, China, energy transition. Okay, I remember there was that whole push for electric cars at that time. It was a big, big push. Europe, fiscal challenges, India, industrial policy and trade, NATO, Russia, transnational threats, Ukraine, and U.S. leadership. So these are some of the topics that they discuss. And as they said, in the description that I had read earlier, they're only there to discuss these things because they say what they say, right? Is that they're not carrying out any agendas with these things. They're having talks. They're just discussing. Please stop that. Y'all have an agenda, or you wouldn't be talking about this stuff. Well, what's the point of the meeting? Really? What's the point of the meeting if you're not going to carry any of this stuff out? What's the point in spending all of this money to get there, really just to chop it up, right? Seriously? Stop that. Stop that. This is why when Elon was at one of the meetings, he said, you know what? F you guys. He said it. I don't want to pull up the meeting. I won't pull it up because we do have Christians that listen to this program. But yeah, he said that. He told them just to go somewhere. And he used the F word. He did that. And ever since then, he's been railing against people like this. Now, the one thing that I noticed Let me see if he's on this list because I'm not sure. He might be on the list. Let's check it out. Real easy. Let's see. Do a find. Put his name in here. Nope, because his name would have came up. Let's see if he was there. That was 2023. Let's see if he was there in 2024. I mean, he can't be. He got money. Just saying. Look, he's got one of those things. He's got enough money to have a seat at the table. Okay, he wasn't at 2024. Well, let's see if he was in 2025. Okay, and Musk. Let's see if your name comes up. Nope, he's not there. And that says a lot because he's got enough money to be there. I mean, he does have a social media platform, right? And it did say that, people that are in parts of media, and I do consider social media just that, media, right? We can, make videos like Miller for Church made and the other gentleman that I showed before on TikTok. And that's our form of peer-to-peer media, right? We're sharing our thoughts and ideas, and we can take those thoughts and ideas and expound upon them. We can do different things, right? Or we can be caught up in the bubble, and some of us that happens to, right? So he wasn't there. Now, could he have been there before? Maybe. I mean, it's only going back to 2023. So I'm not saying that he's probably never participated. He may have participated. I would have to find it and see. Let's try Wikipedia. See if we find his name over here. Like, I'm just curious because I didn't think about that before. I'm like, who is he there? Okay. So even on Wikipedia, he's not coming up in this list under Bilderberg. And this is the list that I've shown you guys and brought it up. So he's not there. But he does know the people that are going there. Now, you may not like how Elon kind of handles certain things. I should say that. His fallout with the president, it was epic, way above my pay grade, right? To even have audience with that. It's like, I do not even have enough money to get into this conversation. And I don't want to. I don't. Because at the end of the day, I really think they're going to work it out. And they are. In their own way. But they're working it out. But he's not participating in this. And like I said, that says a lot because they want somebody like him to participate because of everything he's doing, right? He's doing the SpaceX stuff. He's got the social media platform on X, and there's other business. He's got Tesla, right? They want to do this whole electric thing. He's got a product, whether you like the product or not. He's got a product. Okay. And another person that I wanted to bring up really quick and just kind of caught my eye as we were talking about Elon is Klaus Schwab. This is the chairman. He's executive chairman of the World Economic Forum. He's participating in Bilderberg. Now you've seen this guy around, right? He's a German mechanical engineer, economics, and former and founder of the World Economic Forum. He acted as the WEF's chairman since founding the organization from 1971 to 2025 when he was replaced by Peter Barabek Litmathi. Okay, I probably butchered that. But yeah. So he's in the meeting. Klaus Schwab's in the meeting. Okay, he's at Bilderberg. Elon Musk isn't. And like I said, as far as I know, he's not been in the meeting. It's not coming up in Wikipedia. So if there's somebody out there that has found something on Elon participating in Bilderberg, let me know because it's not on the list. The list is out. It's on Wikipedia. Even on their press release, he's not coming up. And like I said, that's not to say that maybe he didn't go to one and maybe 2020, I don't know. But he's not on this Wikipedia list, which is an aggregated list of everybody that's kind of gone over different years. Yeah. So I'm not sure what these little numbers, 16 means. Oh, participants build. Okay. So this just shows the participant meeting. Gotcha. Yeah, so that is what it means. So he started participating in 2016. Klaus Schwab did. Yeah, 9 years ago. I highly doubt it was 9 years ago. I'm sure he was part of it before, in my opinion. To state my opinion. But yeah, guys, these are the people that we need to be careful of. I'm just saying, we do. We need to be aware of what they're talking about. Again, I'm going to put it up here. They're talking about depopulation and migration. All of these other things, they're always going to try to, mess with us, especially like this AI deterrence of national security. What does that even mean? Because in every movie, when you put AI in charge of defense, it always turns on you. Like, I need these guys to watch Terminator because seriously, now y'all might be out there sitting there laughing at me, talking about really, Shaq, Skynet. Yes, talking about Skynet. Because what you don't know or may have not come across, there's already litigation against AI. Like, how some people get in relationships with these chat bots or different things. It convinced a young man to take his own life. That's in current litigation right now, that they keep pushing us to be an AI. Okay, Zuckerberg's talking about, oh yeah, you can have a chat friend. No, because those things want to kill off humanity. I don't ever want anybody to be in a relationship with those things. Because you're convincing people to kill themselves at the end of this. It's causing more depression. You know what you need to do? You need to build more parks. Let's have more green space. Let's have more interface human to human time, because that's something that has disrupted our lives. This new normal that you're trying to make, like everybody just be online, don't socially interact humanly, right? Human to human. Just make sure that you're only interacting on the computer. No, we need to get out of that. So for humans out there listening to me, you need to have more human activity. Go outside, go on a go with your family, have a meal in the park. I almost said the word. And I stopped myself, but have a gathering. Start really sharing more human interactions. Okay, Jamal, I know you was laughing at me about the Terminator reference. I got it. I'm just saying. I'm not wrong. But start having more human interaction. Instead of sending a text, just call somebody on their cell phone. Actually, you know what? FaceTime. Even better. FaceTime somebody. And just tell them how much you love and appreciate them. Don't always call because you need or want something. That's the things that we need to get back to. I don't know what we need to do to counterbalance this crazy Bilderberg group, but we're going to come up with it. Because we need a counterbalance to this evil. Because all of this is evil. Because if it wasn't evil, you'd be doing it out in public. You wouldn't be so secret about it. What kind of conversations are you having that the rest of us can't hear? That's all I'm saying. That's truly what I'm saying. And BDCO says yes. Thank you, BDCO. Appreciate that. But yeah, we're going to take a quick break. And this is going to be for our wealth management series that we're going to be doing. So you're going to see a few, I want to say, different broadcasts showing, just wealth and management and that area of wellness. So with that, we're going to take that quick break, and I will see you guys on the other side. Welcome to Unfiltered Vision News, bringing you the news unfiltered Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern. I am your host, Dr. Ashaki Noni Nichols, and we are doing a special segment called Wealth Management, because as much as we need to stay physically well and mentally well, right, we also need to stay spiritually well, but there's also wellness within money management. And I have a wonderful guest that I wanted to bring to you guys today. Her name is Sonia Smith, and she is the owner of Wealth in Motion. So let me bring her to the stage. Hey, Sonia, how are you?
Hello, great. Thank you so much for inviting Wealth in Motion Consulting today.
Oh, thank you. I forgot. I thought the consulting part, you guys. So, Wealth in Motion Consulting. And again, thank you so much for joining us. I know you're going to definitely give us some information on wealth management, but I just wanted you to give a little bit of a background about yourself before we get into it.
Well, I have a degree in international business and Spanish double major, and I have done business, international business, and traveled the world. So I worked in Doha, Qatar, in the Middle East, and I was an executive at a hospital in charge of their wealth, their commercialization. And another key component I worked was I was a director at a specialty pharmacy where I was in charge of $1.3 billion worth of contracts. So I've dealt with money a little bit. And then on the a little bit on the entrepreneurship side, I've owned several businesses where I've invested in commercial real estate. I've done taxes. I've done a little bit of mortgages. So I've had experiences across the board. So I can give a broader view of your portfolio and how you do your wealth versus someone who only works for a particular company that only offers insurance or only deals with your IRAs, or only deals with your stock account, or so I give you a broader view to show how they can interchange and how you can use it and maximize all of your wealth.
Cool. And then another area is because, as a parent, and I have 3 young women, and they're past their college years, but, what about, student loans for your kids? Because right now there are a lot of people that are in default because the student loans were put on hold, but we never really talk about the parents that may have taken out student loans for their kids. What do you think about those things?
Well, I think there's a couple of strategies that I talk to my clients about. Number one, special is like doing community college first, but making sure those credits are transferable to a 4-year institution. That's important, right? Gotcha. And then making sure whatever one you choose is accredited and you're going to get the credits. We don't want people attending universities that are not accredited. So number one, check on the accreditation, right? Okay. Number two, so that could be a strategy. Another strategy is there are universities and colleges that have free tuition.
Oh, okay.
There's one particular one here in the United States that has a free tuition, and there's been free tuition since the 1800s, and nobody that I talk to knows about it.
Okay, so share.
Look, if you sign up for a consultation, then I'll share what the university is, and so that's exclusive to my clients. But there's a university that's here in the United States that's 100% free tuition.
That's incredible. And now, can people use their IRAs to, maybe help pay for their kids' tuition?
I think you can. I would say I have not advised with that with the whole tax situation. I haven't had any clients that did that or whatever, and how you would do that. It has to be, if you're using your self-directed IRA, it has to be an asset that you own that's appreciating, that's an investment. So like paying for college with it, I don't know the tax ramifications of it. I know that if you're going to take your IRA and put a down payment on the home, you can use that to do it, and it's exempted for penalty, but you still have to pay taxes on the money. So it gets kind of sticky with the scenario. So you have to be very specific. But going back to the free college, I wanted to add one other thing, is that that a lot of people come over here from other countries to go to the universities, right?
Right.
There are universities in other countries that, as an American, you could go to college for free.
Wow.
Or for pennies on a dollar. You can go to www.wealthinmotion.net and set up a free 30-minute consultation, and we could talk about your financial situation and look at ways to help you. Like, I can help you start a business. I can help you start a nonprofit. I can help you invest offshore and get some of those historical returns of 30%. I can help you in a lot of different ways there. So that's what Wealth in Motion does. Wealth in Motion evaluates your wealth, and we're changing it. It's in motion. We buy low, we sell high, whether it's real estate, whether it's stock, whether it's looking at your retirement money and putting it in the right place.
Yes, yes. And thank you so much. Now, just so that my viewers know out there that, yes, you get a free consultation, but if you become her client, she has graciously going to give a 10% off code for you guys. Just let them know that, yes, you watched Unfiltered Vision News here, and the code is UV10 off. That's UV10 off. The code is right there across the screen for you guys, so that when you do get your free consultation, you can see different ways of investing your money, but also making your money. Because right now, the banks are crazy. Everybody's really strapped. Some people are. But again, with all of the ideas that have been shared here, there is a way to make your money, keep your money, and reinvest your money, right? So you can continue that perpetual cycle. So I definitely want to thank you, Sonia, for coming here and sharing Wealth in Motion with us. Is there anything you want to leave our viewers with?
I just want to say that no amount is too small to get started. Just get started. People have these bears in their mind. I'm going to save up this amount or that amount. You could start with $10. I have one lady that worked with Equity Trust. She had $1,500 in her IRA. Wow. She took that $1,500, bought a lot that she knew that Walmart was projected to go there, and that $1,500 turned into $5 million. Wow.
Okay. Well, proof is in the pudding. Thank you so much again for being here with us on Unfiltered Vision News. And again, guys, that code is UV10 off. Thank you so much for joining us here today, Sonia. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, guys, and that will do it for our wealth management segment. We're going to do more, and we're going to bring you more ideas of how to save in this down economy that they talk about, but there always is, that ram in the bush, as they like to say. So thank you so much for joining us for this segment, and we will see you right after this break. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here today on Unfiltered Vision News, bringing you the news unfiltered Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern. My name is Dr. Ashaki Noni Nichols. And again, thank you for joining us. And so that was our wealth management segment. So let me know what you guys think. It definitely is one of those pre-recorded segments, but I wanted to, break it down and bring it to you guys. And also, definitely check out that the discount from Wealth in Motion, at 10% discount. And I'll make sure to add that into the links when I repost this program later on today. So one other place that I wanted to check out when we talk about, quote unquote, getting the bag. There were some other places that I wanted to show you guys, but for some reason my login wasn't working on those. So I'm gonna have to check those offline. I thought they would work. So I didn't think about checking if I could log in or not. And they just were kind of failing. But this is some place where you can go to find different government contracts, because a lot of times people think, oh, I can't get those, they're too big or whatever. It's completely free to get signed up with sam.gov. The thing that might cost you money with sam.gov is actually the cost of setting up your business, right? Because usually it costs about, I want to say $150. It might be $200 now, but $150 to $200 to set up either your LLC or your corporation with your state, because you will definitely need to do that. because that creates your articles of incorporation and all of the other things that are needed to get set up on sam.gov. But it doesn't cost any money to actually get processed on sam.gov. And a lot of people out there, they're charging, hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars for something that you can do yourself, right? And, I would seek out, someone, if you know of someone who's registered with sam.gov, to walk you through the process. But other than that, you can actually go to sam.gov and it will walk you through the process. And so we've got a good morning coming from Unc. Thank you so much. It says, good morning, #UVN. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Yes. So we're going to look at Insta Markets, and it is another offshoot to actually find government contracts. So myself, I'm a paralegal. So let's see what comes up under that. But more than likely, you know what? Let's be fun. Let's look up pens. I know that sounds okay. Office. There we go. Office supplies. There we go. Office supplies. Now you can pare this down by nationwide or in your state. So I'm here in Georgia. So let's just check out Georgia and let's see what agencies might need office supplies, right? Okay, that keeps popping up. So, all right, so you got plan administrator and compliance services. And so a lot of these things can also be filtered. But this is what came up in my area, right? Like new and used books, educational materials, and other related materials. And this is a contract. And so these are the contracts that I'm talking about. Now, the due date for this is July 9th. So there's still time to apply for it. And here's the agency. It's Marion County School Board. And they're in Florida, which is close to Georgia, right? And as you go in, you can see a little bit more of what's going on, like who was awarded the last time, what's closed and completed, all of these different things about this award and what they're looking for. So you can go to the official site, right? And like I said, I just wanted to walk you guys through this so they could see vendor link. So this is somewhere where you can also register, right? To find out more information on these contract opportunities that you find. But another thing I wanted to see disasters. Here we go. Disaster recovery. Right? And let's just search. Let's see what comes up. Let's see what comes back. So they have a lot of different contracts for just cleaning up debris, right? So this is debris management and disaster recovery services. So let's see what they're looking for. All right. So this is debris and contracting services. It's due July 24th, so next month. All right, so we just got a one pager here. Oh, it's 31 pages. Sorry. We're going this way. So it gives you an overview, the scope of services, what they're looking for, proposal requirements, the selection evaluation process. So this is actually the petition for somebody to apply for this contract, right? This is what they're looking for. So let's see. Colton County in South Carolina is seeking proposals from qualified contractors for debris management and disaster recovery services. This RFP covers emergency debris clearance, debris sand removal, beach restoration, temporary debris staging, and reduction site management, and tree and limb removal. Well, you would think, well, why can't they just hire the government contractors that they have, right? People that actually work for the federal government to do this. That's the thing. They don't have the manpower to do it. And so that's where these contracts come into place. So in South Carolina, from that hurricane that we had a few months back, I want to say back in January, they're looking for people still to clean that up. They're still looking for people to clean that up. And down here it says successful proposer is intended to prepare the FEMA project worksheets and substals to the debris management monitor for submission to FEMA and the Department of Transportation. The contractor is responsible for providing full support to the debris management monitor in Collection County in developing the project worksheets and documentation to support these projects. So they may be looking for people, right now, just kind of just like going through those different places. They're not only looking for people to pick up the debris, they're looking for people to kind of orchestrate and organize how it's going to be picked up, what paperwork's going to go behind it, right? Like all of the moving parts, not just picking up the debris. And some of these contracts are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm trying to see like what it's worth. Actually, I'm like, okay, so what's in it for me? Has retrieved. Okay. Document COVID process, the requirements. So these are some of the requirements that they're looking for. Now this is a larger contract. Some of them are smaller, and some of them are larger. Like this one, contract award. Still doesn't say what it is. Like I said, a lot of times it'll tell you like how much money is involved. This just looks like this is the actual, this is the actual application and documentation. So if you wanted to apply for this, you literally could come here and download it. But now here's the flip side to it. You definitely need to be registered with sam.gov because that's how you're going to get paid. Okay. You have to be registered there. This is just another place to find contracts outside of sam.gov. Because I know a lot of people, they find it, very overwhelming going into sam.gov to find anything. But if you were to go to the official site, it just brings you back to, right, the document that we just found. Like I said, I was trying to find the money. Like, I want the money. I was like, how much is this worth? Come on. Usually, like I said, they'll say what the amount is and how much these are worth, but they can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. They literally can be. Like here's another one that's due tomorrow. But they're still not showing any more details. Let's see. Yep. That's who you can contact. This is the RFP for the disaster. All right. Well, definitely, like I said, we're definitely going to do this again because I want to show you guys the money part of this too, right? So that you can see how much money that they're offering for some of these. But this is disaster recovery consulting services. So I don't even know if you even got to pick up the trash. It's consulting about picking it up. Like some of the questions, are you currently working with a firm? And if so, are you eligible to rebid? Right? So these are some of the questions to all prospective bidders, bidding on this contract. Very short, sweet, to the point because they had to amend it. And sometimes they'll have to go through that because we don't know if they had to extend the date because they didn't find enough people. And that's the other part too. Some of these have to get extended a lot because they're not finding people. But then again, not a lot of people know where to even find these bids. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to go through this again with you guys when I'm back next week because I will be out. I will not be online Wednesday through Friday. Spend some time with family, summertime. Spend some time with my grandson and my kids. So I won't be online. But again, when I do come back next week, we're going to go through some more of these and really see how much these contracts are worth and how you guys can get these contracts. So when we have this wealth management segment, we're going to go right into talking about some money. because it's very important, especially now, because I know there's a lot going on outside in the world, and we'll get into the news here in a minute. But the thing that we have to remember is we still have to stay diligent and not just throw our hands up and say, okay, the end of the world is coming. We just gonna party this out. We just gonna, not do anything. It's like, no, we need to stay diligent, stay prayerful, and stay focused, right? Because that's our job. We can't get caught up in everybody else's craziness going on out here in the world. And I think in the past, that's been the thing, right? Right now, we have some of our leaders, I guess maybe they believe they're our leaders and they might not be, that just want people to go along supporting illegal activity, right? While at the same time knowing that we need to be law abiding citizens. See, we're not out there the way they would like us to be en masse. We're not out there supporting this, as we shouldn't be, right? We shouldn't be supporting illegal activity ever. But I wanted to show you guys this article. So apparently, DHS reverses Trump's directive to not raid farms, hotels, restaurants for migrants. And I found it interesting. I was like, huh? They reversed the directive not to raid. So were they supposed to raid? I'm just trying to figure it out, right? So the Department of Homeland Security has reversed the guidance under which Immigrations and Custom Enforcement agents were instructed not to conduct raids at farms, hotels, and restaurants, according to a new Washington Post they lean left bias report. Okay. So they were instructed not to do it. And that's been reversed. Now that means they can do it. Okay. Right. I was like, I had to slow walk that one. I had to slow walk it. So for the details, the DHS informed staff on Monday that immigration agents should resume raids at farms, hotels, and restaurants. ICE officials confirmed the new directive in a call to field offices nationwide. The decision goes against President Trump's earlier order not to conduct raids of these types of businesses. Okay, so they weren't supposed to raid farms, hotels, and restaurants. Those areas specifically. Remember, they were like, well, they're coming into churches and they're coming into schools. So apparently those aren't off, off the table, because they're going and picking people up there where people feel safe, right? And they feel like they can still get away with this criminal activity. How are you up in the church? Illegal. Stop that. You need, as Miller for Church for Christ said, you are subject to the governing authorities. That's what the Bible says. And you're going against that. And then you're mad because people don't want to protect you. Like it's crazy. Insane. So on Sunday, Trump issued an order to increase ICE raids in America's largest cities. Trump previously told reporters that farmers are being hurt badly. They have very good workers who have worked for them for 20 years. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be great. And we're going to have to do something about that. So he wants to do something about people's immigration status. But my whole thing is, if you're there for 20 years and you haven't, done anything about your immigration, like, what are you doing? Like, I can see maybe 5 years. I don't know. I can't see any of the years, because you should be coming here legally, first of all, and if you can't get your legal status here, you need to go home. 20 years? Seriously? I can't. I'm not a fan of that. So Unc says, you roll your cost fee, in the bid. Okay. So Unc was talking about something I showed previously. It says, if you can do the job for the lowest cost, which includes what you want to make off the project, if you win the bid, your fee bag is included. Nice. You are the prime, so the money comes through your company and you pay the subcontractors. Gotcha. Very cool. Very cool. He's also saying, basically, you have to decide how much money you want to put on top of the project without being greedy. Yes, obviously. It is a tightrope, right? Because you got to charge enough so that you do make some money, and obviously, and that's after you've paid everybody else, right? But at the same time, you got to kind of come a little bit under, right? So you win the contract. And I've always found that balance, because I've bid on a couple of contracts, and I was outbid, because there are some larger companies out there that they can do things at more of a discount than I could. But I'm not going to stop trying. I'm going to keep on it. It's one of those things. My contract is out there. We'll see. I do stay pretty busy with the party and doing this 7 to 9 a.m. So if I take on something else, my husband's probably going to get me. So I have to be good. Stick to one thing at a time. But also, it says here, and here's how the media covered it. Breitbart wrote, CEOs are discovering that millions of sidelined and underpaid Americans are willing to take open jobs when ICE deports illegal workers. Wow, shocker. The Washington Post led its coverage by saying that reversal comes amidst concerns about negative effects on the food industry. Because people keep saying, and I don't know why they keep drumming this up. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up, Rock. But people keep saying that Americans don't want to do these jobs. I don't believe that. I do not believe that. They want to do the jobs, but they want to get paid for those jobs. They want to have insurance. So I think a lot of these farmers out there, they need to stop wanting slave labor. Let's just talk about that, because that's what this conversation comes back to, and that's where it gets ugly, and that's where some people don't want to talk about it. So let's have the ugly conversation. Why are you trying to have slave labor, farmers? And to any farmers out there that don't want slave labor, hey, you guys need to start going into these high schools and these colleges when these kids are out for the summertime and saying, hey, we've got work here. We need more agricultural specialists, because that's what you are. Okay. You specialize in agriculture. That is your thing, whether you're growing or harvesting or making sure that the soil stays nourished, so that the vegetation that grows there is nourishing our bodies and it's not bad, right? Where are our agricultural specialists? There is nothing wrong with being a farmer. That is one of the, in my opinion, it's a very sacred position, because you're feeding everybody else off of what you've done. That's a huge responsibility, because if somebody gets sick, or you know what I mean, like, I guess, for me, being a paralegal, the first thing I go to all the liability issues, like, how can we get sued if we don't do this right? But we have had farmers for a millennia feeding the rest of us. If you don't have your own garden and you're going to the grocery store, these farmers are feeding you. It comes from somewhere. Somebody's got to do the work. But what I'm sick and tired of is people saying, well, only people that are here illegally will do it. Guess what? They're out the paint. We don't want people here illegally doing the job for American citizens. We want American citizens doing those jobs. If you're not an American citizen, you need to go home. I don't want any more green card workers. I don't want any more visa workers on these farms. I want American citizens on these farms. And guess what I don't want? I don't want people saying, well, they have to be Latino. No, they don't. They need to be Black, white, Latino, Asian, Indian, everybody. When I say everybody needs to be on the farm. Not a plantation, but on the farm. And participating. Okay? What if we made it so where if your families had to go out and forage for your vegetables on the farm, right? And the farmers would just let you go on, and however much you picked or whatever, and you had to, have a way to transport it back to your house. Hey, how about we have that system where it's not just going to be so where you can just put it in a bag and pay for it and go home? Like, no, you got to go out in the hot sun and pick it yourself. People would pass out. They would fall out like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. You figure out a way. you'd figure out a way. And that's my point. Nobody's figuring out a way to make this legal. We're okay with it being illegal. I think it was disgusting how some political leaders were saying, well, we know you guys don't want to do those jobs. How do you know that? You haven't asked. You've just assumed. And especially in hospitality, you rarely see people that are United States citizens doing these jobs. I want everybody fired that is here illegally, not of the soil, can't speak English. You need to leave. And English speaking individuals need to have those jobs. I recently stayed at a hotel in Dalton. It was so refreshing to see an American citizen on the other side of the Cool. I am so sorry. I don't know what happened. And this is what my screen looks like when it's not all beautiful. And I have my virtual background. It'll pop here in just a second, hopefully. There we go. Okay. My goodness, everything. Even my phone is all jacked up. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry, you guys. Today is just one of those days. And of course it's like that because just because I'm going to be going out of town. Just because I'm going out of town. But thank you everybody for hanging in there and not going anywhere. So Dr. Aya Aduja, thank you so much for watching. She says, that's it. No partly pittance wages is key. Okay. Corporations need to stop being greedy. Got you. I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing that wrong. Paltry pittance. Okay. Gotcha. But thank you so much for joining the show and definitely making that comment because yeah, corporations are being greedy. And as much as people, I don't want to say they scoff when we talk about slave labor and wages and everything like that. But it's serious, and the struggle is real when it comes to people basically continually, right, being offered slave wages. And then when American citizens say, hey, we're not going to work for that, they take that as we don't want to work. And that's not the issue. The issue is you don't want to pay people a livable wage. And you're not even paying people that are working livable wage. Like, it's crazy. But you expect people to still go and still grind and still do this. And it's like, yeah, to Dr. Aduja's point, you're greedy. You are truly, truly greedy, and you do not care about what happens to these workers. I mean, what are the workers supposed to do? In my opinion, at that point, we can do, crowdsourcing, and start going to these smaller local farmers, right? And getting our groceries, or start growing some of our own food, right? And if you can't grow corn, but somebody else can, and let's say you have carrots, you guys get on a barter system, or buy from one another, right? And we need to start doing that. We need to become less dependent on these grocery stores that are out here, because what's going to happen? I mean, people are rioting constantly. I mean, what's really going to happen to these people when their social services are turned off? Because it's going to happen to people, but it's going to happen to people that are here illegally, not the legal ones, the illegal ones. What are they going to do when they get kicked out of housing? Because that's going to happen. What are they going to do when the money starts going? Because some of them have already left in droves. I heard about this in Illinois. I think there were people that were leaving. There were people leaving, you know what I'm saying, that they left their food trucks, they left cars, they left all kinds of stuff, returning when Donald Trump got legally, that were in Illinois, right? Because they were like, they want the opportunity to come back, so they know they had to leave. But yeah. Oh, thank you, Dr. Duja. Okay. Okay. Thank you for letting me know that it's you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And what's so cool is you're on YouTube. So I can actually I can respond to you on YouTube, which is crazy. I can't respond to anybody on X. That's why I have to read the comments where I'm at. But thank you. Thank you so much for just, like I said, participating, because these corporations are greedy. They need to stop. But as you can see on the screen, we've got Europeans protest against over tourism. They spray water guns on tourists. Now that's interesting to me, because I don't want to go to Europe. I really don't want to go. I don't want to go. Thank you so much for the emoji and the thumbs up. Is anybody out there like me, and they just don't want to go to Europe? Because I just I've seen things over there. I'm like, I don't want to go. So they're protesting against over tourism. Like, how can you have over tourism? You just got too many people showing up wanting to see your spot, and you're like, ugh, we're tired of these people coming from all over the country just to see our country. Like, okay, y'all, Europeans don't want us to fly over there anymore. Stop going. Just stop going. And when that money dries up, y'all gonna be the first people. Oh, okay, she said she posted this yesterday. Yes, I posted this yesterday. It's hilarious. It is hilarious. Seriously, you're like, there's so many people. We just can't handle it. Oh, just get out of here. Okay, cool. We'll get out of here. We're not going to pay anymore. And then, because that's all you have. Anybody else going over to Europe for what? What are we doing? Anybody going over there to work? Anybody? What? Everybody goes over there just to see y'all's spot. And then they leave. And that's literally how you make your money, is off of what you have. So thousands protested against over-tourism in Barcelona, Lisbon, Venice, and other European cities on Sunday, in some instances deploying smoke grenades and firing water guns at tourists. Okay, I will save my money. I will save all my coins and not go. Okay, so among the protesters' top argument appears to be that the massive influx of tourists has driven up the cost of housing and living and displaced residents. A protester in Catalan reportedly carried a sign that read, "One more tourist, one less neighbor." A Barcelona-based housing nonprofit wrote on X that tourism makes cities unlivable. It also shared scenes from the demonstrations that included slogans like "No tourists, expats, or digital nomads," and "You put capital before people." So, for context, some European cities, such as Budapest, have already taken steps to prevent the establishment of new Airbnb rentals in popular tourist neighborhoods. Other popular destinations, such as Venice, Mykonos, and Santorini, charge visitors an access fee. Interesting. So, some of the key quotes: Sud Europea contra la Turistio, a group supporting the protest, said it aims to defend the city from the plunder to which mon- of tourist monoculture is subjecting it, and address poorly paid jobs that are too dependent on tourism. Jamie Rodriguez de Santiago, Airbnb's general director for Spain and Portugal, told Associated Press, which leans left bias, that the company isn't responsible for tourism. I think a lot of our politicians have found an easy scapegoat to blame for the inefficiencies of their policy in terms of housing and tourism over the last 10, 15, 20 years. So this is how the media covered it. The story was widely covered by Western media outlets on Monday. Several outlets across the spectrum highlighted in headlines that demonstrators sprayed tourists with water guns. Fox that leans right ordered its headline differently that most other outlets mentioning the water guns. For example, Fox wrote, tourists sprayed with water guns by protesters, whereas CBS at Leans Left wrote, protesters in Spain shoot water guns at tourists. I mean, either way, it's ridiculous. Either way. And it's sad, right? Because people, for some people to go to these places, it's a dream of theirs, right? They're just like, wow, it's so beautiful, I really want to see it, I want to do this, I want to do that. You get your itinerary set up. And if that's because a lot, they aren't cheap. What I'm saying? You're going to spend anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. People save up a lot of money to have this whole experience, and then you get there and people have this foul attitude towards you, and you're just trying to be on vacation. Really? Yeah, here's what I'll do for you. Since I got 172 people, don't go to these places. Don't go to Spain. Don't go. Tell you what, like, let's figure out how to do some virtual tourism, right? Let's just figure out how, maybe set up a big screen TV in somebody's house, and we'll have somebody on the other end that's maybe a YouTuber or whatever, do a walk-in tour for us. Okay. And we'll just like lay back in some lawn chairs and have some snacks, because nobody wants to spend their money to be accosted going to these places. Like, I've heard Venice is beautiful. I've heard Barcelona is beautiful, but you know what? I will never spend my money and go there. Thank you very much. You have one less, citizen from the United States that ever wants to step foot on your land. Like I said, I will find a YouTube video, put it up on the big screen, and that's how I will enjoy seeing your country. And you won't get a dime of my money. But see, when those pennies start drying up, because they will, and when they start drying up, don't come back crying, go, oh my gosh, we need people here. Nope. We don't even want boats to stop there. Just keep on going. Like, I like cruising, by the way. Yeah. So cruise ships, don't stop. Don't stop in places like Barcelona and Venice and Europe. Just like, so, just point to people and wave and say, yeah, like all the 5,000 people on this boat, like 3,000 that would have gotten off, that would have spent money in your restaurants and all those other places, since you don't want them there, that we won't stop. And like I said, when that money starts drying up, okay, it won't return. That's all I'm saying. When you let people know you don't want them there, they won't come back. And when they don't come back, don't get upset. That's all I'm saying. Now let's check this out. Now, there were some people shot with rubber bullets. I actually did see on camera it was a young lady. Oh, let's see, Dr. Duja, like, so what are you saying? Trying to get my cursor in the right place. Oh my word. Come on, cursor. She said, not for me. The food is bland, I hear. I never wanted to visit there. Right. And there's some people who's like, we don't even want to go anyway. Come on, y'all. Really? It's to me, that, and we'll get into this rubber bullet thing in a minute, but just to add on to, these Europeans, certain European companies not wanting us to go there. Nobody rang your buzzer. Like, we don't have to go to these places, right? Some people never want to visit there, but you're shooting yourself in the foot by doing this. I'm telling you, because in the next, 4 or 5 years, they'll probably start crying and whining about the money that they've lost. And oh my gosh, we need you people to come back. Nope. Y'all ruined it for everybody, because I would never want to visit a place that people don't want me there. I'm never going to spend money in a place where people don't want me there. That is not a good experience to have, ever. Like, really? And I'm glad, and thank you for sharing about the food, because I'm a foodie. Because that's one of the things my husband like to do when we go to different places. You know what I'm saying? We want to experience the food. We want to, see what's out there. But we don't have to save our money to, not be wanted. Just saying. So let's get back into this. The journalist shot with rubber bullets during the LA protest. Yeah, you're gonna get shot with them bullets. Really? Y'all better get some drones. That's what you need to do. You need to get some drones and stop being on these streets. Oh, she said that's England. That's England. Yes, a lot of the mistreatment. So some media members have faced violence from law enforcement amidst anti-immigration customs enforcement protests in Los Angeles, California, with some worried they may be targets. Okay, first of all, they're not facing violence from law enforcement. Law enforcement they have a big bullhorn that says, this is an unlawful assembly. Please leave the area. I can find you several videos that say that repeatedly. Now, if you as a journalist, you're going to stand there and you don't think you're not going to get caught up in some of this, you're being silly. You're being silly, and you need to stop. You need to stop. You were told to leave the area. What does that mean? That means leave the area. Now, see, what's interesting to me is a lot of you haven't set yourselves up along this route, because it's a route. I'm just saying. And maybe one of these buildings on the ledges where you can get some good footage without being on the street. Like, y'all need to figure it out. You're in the middle of civil unrest. What do you think is going to happen to you? Are you serious right now? So for the details, dozens of media professionals were reportedly harmed last week by tear gas, pepper spray, rubber bullets, and detainments, despite identifying markings. You're in the middle of a civil unrest. Then don't care if it says press on your shirt. Really? So move. That's what the police are telling you. Move, get out the way. We are clearing the area. Just because you got press on your backpack is not going to help you. Go. So journalists, camera operators, photographers, and broadcasters from outlets like the New York Post, that leans right, ABC, that leans left, New York Times, that leans left, have been hit. So, dummy, get out the way. Y'all are being crazy. The First Amendment, Coalition of Freedom, and the Press Foundation, among others, have expressed concern over the incidents and question whether law enforcement targeted the victims. No, they didn't. They got in the way. The Los Angeles Press Club and news site Status Coup have filed a lawsuit. So you know what you're gonna do? Whatever with your lawsuit. You shouldn't have been there. You saw how people were acting out and acting up. Now, I have actually seen some YouTubers, excellent coverage They got out the way. They didn't get hit. What's wrong with y'all? Since you're the professionals, learn how to be in a combat zone. Are you serious? Look, and they live to talk about it, right? They live to complain about it. Filing a lawsuit. Y'all sound dumb. Y'all really sound crazy. So for context, the protests come in response to actions taken by ICE against unauthorized migrants. No, these are illegal criminals in our country. Stop changing their name. First they're undocumented, then they're non-citizens. They're illegal criminals. Stop talking about unauthorized migrants. Crazy. Trump has since ordered ICE to expand efforts to detain and deport illegal aliens in America's largest cities, such as Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. Now, how they covered it. The Associated Press that's left highlighted the concerns raised by press freedom groups and an Australian TV reporter who was hit by a rubber bullet while reporting live. Yeah, she got hit and it looked like it hurt, but she was dumb because she was on the street with the camera, just post up like nobody was going to hit her. When the police already said, this is an unlawful assembly, you need to disperse. Yeah, I'll find the footage for you. So the Committee to Protect Journalists covered 4 in-depth accounts from journalists on the scene and anticipation of potential violence to come. So here's the thing, people of the press. When you are in an area that is civil unrest, which this was, you are supposed to take proper precautions because it is not up to the police to help you. Now, when you're hanging out with military people, that's totally different kind of press because they're actually trained to be out there in combat when they do certain things. And they do have a specialized force and subject of the military that will make sure that the press is protected, right? They kind of tell you like, hey, you guys, you need to go. You know what I'm saying? You almost have like a tracking person, right? That tracks the press and tells them, hey, the way there's firing, they're going to be doing this. You guys may need to move so you don't get caught up in this. This isn't that. This is the Wild Wild West. This is civil unrest in Los Angeles on the street, and you were standing out there like nothing's going to happen to you. Even though you see police with riot gear, you see sheriffs with riot gear, you see the battalion police, you see them with the air guns to shoot the rubber bullets, but you are posted up in the street when you saw him coming. Because I know exactly this reporter from Australia and she got popped in the leg bad. Okay, so I was like, ooh, that's going to leave a mark. It's going to be bad. It's going to be there for weeks. She could barely walk. Yeah, because she was right there at the front line on the street. Now, had this reporter been smart, what she would have done, and her cameraman, they would have gotten in position somewhere because they didn't show the police in the background. They had a totally different shot going. They should have been somewhere to keep her safe to report on it so she could see it as it was coming. And there were plenty of places for her to be. But no, you thought this was just a regular demonstration. It wasn't, ma'am. And you had been there for a couple of days because I remember that ponytail. I saw you. And anybody else that got hit that they claim to be a quote unquote journalist and now they want to sue the LA. Okay, you know what's going to happen to your lawsuit? You're going to spend a whole bunch of money and get a whole lot of nothing. You know why? Because here in California, if that happens to you, that's on you. You are there at your own risk. Duh. Really? Why do you think they actually do have specific places where press is supposed to be? See, you probably guys, I know I showed a video maybe when this started, and there were it was CNN. Yeah, they were in Minnesota. They got arrested. They were posted up in the street like, okay, we can just be here filming. State troopers were like, Who are you? Oh, okay, that's great. You're all arrested because you're not supposed to be here. But we were told to move here. No, you cannot be here on the street while you got battalion police behind you. And I think they were using air guns too, right behind them. Right. And CNN was posted up like, okay, we can just be here. They all got arrested, including the cameraman. And there was and the film, it was still rolling, y'all. CNN, they were back in the, in the satellite office, like, are you guys there? Oh my, they've arrested everybody. Yes, they did. Yeah, they did. And at least they got arrested so they didn't get injured, but they weren't supposed to be in the middle of the street. Like, seriously? And Unc said, getting hit by rubber bullets makes good news against ICE and Trump. So they are standing in harm's way on purpose. You know what? That's a good point. That's a good point. And I wouldn't highly doubt it, because here we are. And y'all whining and crying. I don't feel sorry for none of y'all. And the gentleman, like the picture with his forehead all popped up. Look, you need to post up somewhere where you're going to be safe, because nobody cares if you get injured. Okay. The police don't care if you get injured, because you are, again, in a place that they've already said is an unlawful gathering. They said it several times. So y'all getting hurt in the middle of the street. Oh well. You better call somebody. Is what is it, Kennedy, the senator? He was like, you need to call a friend that cares. Nobody's caring over here if you are putting yourself in harm's way. You did that to yourself, as they like to say. Ung says, do you think they will be standing in harm's way if real bullets were being used? No, absolutely not. Look, everybody would have been gone, because the first person that would have fell dead, they would have been like, oh, we got to go. It's got real. It's real, y'all. It is gotten real, but they know it's rubber bullets. And see, here's the thing. They want to create as much outrage as they can. And part of this is a distraction. I already told you what happened with the Bilderberg group, and that happened last week. That meeting was just last week, the 12th to the 15th. Okay. So these people, this is crazy. This is really, really crazy. And all of these things are happening right now. Oh, thank you, Bobby, for reposting the stream. I really appreciate everybody showing up and joining the live and hearing me rant about the news, because my goodness. But we're going to get ready to wrap it up. But I just want to encourage you guys, biblically, a lot of this stuff is supposed to be happening. We're going to have wars and rumors of wars. There's going to be pestilences. There's going to be a lot of these things happening that are happening. But we are encouraged by God's word, and it says, when you see all these things occurring, look up, for your redemption is drawing near. He warned us, and we are continuing to be warned, but that means we need to stay steadfast and vigilant, because God's got this. As bad as it seems, he does have us. We just have to remember to have one another's back, right? We do. And we also have to remember that people need to be held to account. There are laws. And if you're going to break the laws, you need to be held to account, and because there are consequences. And it's really that simple. So thank you again for joining me here on Unfiltered Vision News. Like I said before, I will be joining you guys back on Monday. I'm going to be spending some time with my family. So remember, stay well, stay focused, and please stay unfiltered. Till next time.